Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphan Last, aka Skylar Madison, and today I'm here with Draconianrain, and she's going to go ahead and critique this, help me to be able to use this the way that I need to use it, as well as basically just kind of give me a little bit of a rundown as to little mistakes I did. Let me just talk about some of the things that I think I might have done wrong or what I'm confused about. Let's start with this. I think, okay, edit mode, object mode. I need to click on that. Okay, so one thing that I'm kind of frustrated with this desk, like I know that right here at the seam that it winds up like you can see it, like some of this merges into the other, and I at least I think it's clipping, but like this is all one big object, and inside of one object, like if I wanted this to slide, would I need to have like something like a rig or something in order to have this bottom portion slide out?
Oh, not necessarily, but it would make things easier to control in the long run. You don't actually need it to be rigged, but you would have to turn it into two separate objects. They're just the two ways that you do it. You could do it with an armature rig, and there's certain ways that you would have to make sure that it's going to work properly, like the weight painting and that, but it would be a lot easier if it's just going to be a simple sliding in and sliding out animation. You'd separate that part that you want to slide out, and you would probably find it much easier to use and more enjoyable if you turned it into a shape key. I think that's what Blender calls it, and it's in the object data tab.
Okay, so I'm just selecting everything that has to do with it. I think that's what I'm supposed to do at this point.
Yep.
Okay, everything I believe is selected. Let me rotate around it a little bit just to make extra sure. Okay, so what do I do now? Like if I press Control X, it's not going to do what I want.
No, the easiest thing you can do is press P.
P, okay.
Yep, separate by selection.
Huh, P is separate. Okay, selection, okay. So
and now it's a separate object.
So one second. If I go into the layers, will I see it in the layers panel?
Yeah, you know, you don't use layers for objects like you do with grease pencil. What you would consider layers is all those objects way above with the little orange triangles in the outliner. So if you go back into object mode.
Object mode. Okay.
Yep, they're two separate things now.
Okay. Well, okay, I understand that. It's just there's no way to select, well, other than going back into edit mode and pressing L, I think? Yeah. Okay, yeah, see, that it's now actually multiple objects. Actually,
that's because you had both of them selected in object mode. If you go back to object mode and click just the sliding one.
Just that one?
And and then go back into edit.
Edit, okay, so it's not, okay, so it is just two objects. So yeah, I used a mirroring function. With the modifiers, I think is what they're called.
Yep. The little wrench.
The wrench, that's it. Yeah, I used a mirror, and that's how I created this. And so, like, now I'm running into issues with the table. So
it looks like it didn't clip properly, and you need to merge the vertices. So if you go into vertex mode, because you're on edge mode at the moment.
Vertex. Okay.
Yep. One more time.
Yeah.
There we go.
So
see how there's two there in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah. So painstakingly, you're gonna have to select the both of them and press the hotkey Alt M to merge them.
Okay. So I just need to select every single one.
Not like that. Side by side, as if you're gonna pin them together.
Okay. So I'm going to. Okay, so I need to select these two and then press what?
Alt M.
Alt M, okay, and this is merge. Merge, okay, at center. Okay, yeah, at center sounds great. Okay.
And you'll have to do that all along the seam. There is a clipping feature with mirror, but the thing with that is you kind of like have to grab your whole object and like push and pull it in until those vertices actually connect. And that was something I didn't know at first, and I wish I had have known like way back when.
Okay, so from here on out, like if I wanted to have this animate, I would have to go into like object mode and just kind of do that, right?
Yeah, basically, like if you just Control Z for just a moment to put it back into place.
Okay.
Hover your mouse down in the timeline view.
Okay.
just as a quick little...
Whoa, it just turned everything black. I moved this up. Okay, let me change object mode, edit mode. Why did that happen? Okay, let me control Z. Okay, I pressed Control Z, and all of a sudden everything was just fine. I have no idea what happened.
No idea why that happened.
Okay.
So anyway, while you're hovering there with your mouse, just don't click anything. Hover your mouse in the timeline view.
Okay.
Press the I key.
Insert keyframe. Oh, cool.
Yeah, so that's some ways that you can do it. Now, if you hover your mouse back over, like, don't press anything.
Okay.
Hover your mouse back over your desk, just in that general area. Press I again, and you'll have even more insert keyframe options. The main one that everybody uses, because it causes the least problems, is what's called lock, rot, scale, which is location, rotation, scale. So if you press that one,
okay, you want me to?
That will keyframe. Yeah, just for a quick example.
Okay, and let's go 60 frames or something.
Yep.
And then just kind of extend it out, and then do the same thing. Lock.
Do the same thing.
Okay, lock, rot, scale. Okay.
Yep.
And then we just kind of scrub through the animation. Okay, cool. All right,
there you go. First animation. First
animation in Blender right there, and it's just something silly and stupid in Blender. All right. I mean, like not in Blender, but something silly and stupid with a desk. I guess I could do more elaborate things. Okay, if you've ever looked at a desk, there's all these little ball bearings and all that. Like, I don't think anyone would actually make 1,000 little ball bearings, but they would probably create the housing for it. Like, is that right?
Well, if you were doing it for actual architecture and like engineering and that, and they needed like the 3D model to go on, sure, but for this kind of stuff, no way. I mean, only you know that it's there.
Right.
So it's probably not even going to be seen.
Right. So only that was something that was just kind of going through my head. I'm like, how much do I need to animate? Like, do I actually have to think about how this thing works? Okay, so here's the next problem with what I know it's a problem. So if I go into object mode, there used to be measuring. So let's see. I think it's 7 is true up and down. If I measure all the way across here, it's 200 meters. And like, okay, let me translate that into feet. Okay, let's see here. Meters into feet. Okay, meters 200 equals 656 feet. So like, that's 656 square feet and then some, because I added the washer and dryer room on top of it right here. And so, I've already got all this done. So let me see. You said Control would delete this stuff. Okay. So I understand. Okay. This is awesome. I didn't know how to erase this stuff earlier, and now I do. Thank you. Thanks to you. Oh, okay. Another thing that we should cover real quick, we talked about this off camera. Pressing spacebar, it'll always play your animation now, and that's a big frustration. I like having it set to search for different functions. So like, if I forgot how to merge, if I forgot Alt M was merge, I could just type in merge, and then grease pencil and cycles. I don't know.
It would show up properly in edit mode. It's
Oh, let's go edit mode. Okay, so merge. Okay, merge by distance. Merge. Oh, okay. So it gave me all of the options. Wait.
Yeah, you'd be using mesh merge, and then it would take you to what you want.
Let's see, mesh merge. Okay, let's click at center. Okay, yeah, that's the exact same options. So basically, you go edit, preferences, and then we had it at key map. You have to go to key map, and then spacebar action. It's by default it's set to play and search. Now, if you do this alone, then it'll work for the one time that you have Blender open. What you need to do at this point, if you want spacebar to do search every single time, you need to click on this triple line thingamajig and save current state. That way, every time you open Blender, spacebar will be set to the search setting instead of the play setting. Okay, how do we get rid of these keyframes now that we got them? Do we just
you use the same keys that you use to delete stuff, the X key.
Well, okay. Well, I pressed delete, but let me try X.
Yep.
Okay, delete X. They're the same thing. Okay.
Yep, they work the same.
Okay, so we kind of got sidetracked. Okay, back to object mode. Okay, so 200 plus meters, because like that's just ridiculous. Like, let me go back to 7. Like, if I go over here and measure all the way through here,
Mhm.
that's now 260 something, 65, or no, it's not 65, 264 meters. It's just too much. What can I do to make this convert? Okay, meters
Well,
makes no
first-
sense to me first. Meters?
Alright, so first what you're going to want to do, and this is so much easier to describe now that we've got coloured icons, over to the right above the red world-shaped icon, there's this cone and sphere looking thing.
This
So
one?
press that one.
Okay.
Yep. Now, units tab.
Units, awesome. Metric,
Yep.
imperial, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
so let me go back to
So-
measurements. Oh, whoa. It didn't. It used to not save my measurements, and now it does. That's awesome. So now it's
It's probably the most recent update.
800 feet. So 1 second. Let me go back to here. How many is this? That's 200 feet, and I'm going to guess that this is 656. Okay, it's pretty much the exact same measurement. So wait, how do I delete measurements now? Oh, whoa! I can add angles. I didn't know that. That's so cool.
I didn't know that either.
Like,
I don't actually use that tool.
Oh, that's okay. Control Z. Okay, Control.
So if you hover over that tool, just linger for about 5 seconds, there should be a helpful menu that'll pop up and tell you how to use the tool. So go back to the measure tool and just let your mouse hover over it for a couple of seconds.
Okay.
That's extra options. It should mention there where to delete. If not, probably just the X key.
X to remove the active ruler. Okay, so click X. Oh, I see what's happening. I'm adding an angle, I press X, and then it gets rid of the angle.
Yeah.
And then I press X again to delete it. Okay, so now I understand what's going on there. Trying to get my bearings here. I think I got the same thing. I'm sorry, I'm kind of getting sidetracked. I got the same thing going on over here, I think. So, if I recall correctly, okay, I need to go into edit mode. Oh, wait, this is set to mirroring because I didn't want to. Okay, so talking about how to bake. Okay, so I'm in here. I forgot how I baked it, to be honest. It's been a little while.
Yeah.
How do I bake it?
Well, you don't have anything for baking. Baking's a different thing, but if you mean apply the mirror, then you go in the object mode first, and then to the wrench, and then apply.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I forgot that I was up here and not down here. If I saw apply, I would have seen it. Okay, so back to edit mode now, and okay, so I do have vertices selected. Let's see.
Yep.
There's a face in
Maybe.
there.
If you just deselect and manually one select you.
Let me get rid of that face. Okay, so there's no reason for there to be a face in there, right?
No, I think it's it's not joined.
Okay, that's fine. So I need to just go Alt-M at center on all four corners. Do you have to, how do you prevent that from happening?
Well, when you've got the mirror modifier enabled, there is a little box in there called clip. I'm just going to open up.
So wait,
for the sake of having it open.
Okay, let me go ahead and is there any way that you could share what's on your screen if that's okay?
I think so.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. Yep. I'm just going to create a random little object. Oh, wow, this is the front. Snap my cursor back in the middle, and this cube will do. Doesn't actually matter what I'm doing.
Okay, so you're gonna
There we go.
You're gonna mirror it
So-
and have it intentionally clip into one another, right?
Yep, and I will make sure it's in vertex mode. So we got vertex mode, got a little cube, and we've got mirror.
Mm-hmm.
So when I move this,
Mm-hmm.
not much going on there. And then over here in the corner is clipping. So you tick that and enable it.
Okay.
And if I drag my objects close again,
Okay, so now they're
and then release it, they're now clipped. So if I move my object again, see they're not splitting, they're stuck together.
whoa. So they just
So
you
that's what
glued them
happens with
together.
clipping. Yeah, basically that's what clipping does. And then if I turn it off while mirror is still usable, it unclips and unhooks them. And if I was going to do something like with that archway that you had, I would delete this face first so I wouldn't have to do it later. Keep it back in vertex mode. make sure clipping is on in the mirror modifier thing.
And you got rid of both
A to
faces.
select all.
Oh, right.
So yeah.
Okay. You're a genius.
It's useful. It's a useful feature. I love using it a lot, but sometimes, right, if you're not using clipping properly and you've got that tiny little gap like you had before, you'll really notice it when you've got subsurface on, and you'll see this gap like this, and
you'll have to go to every single vertex.
Yeah, and if you have clipping on and then you join it, it's no longer a problem.
Okay, what you just described could potentially save hundreds of hours. That's awesome. All right.
Yeah, that's something I wish someone had showed me, because I got so frustrated, but I forgot about it. You know, it's these little things that you forget about until someone brings it up.
Okay. Let's see here. You know, even square feet seems kind of foreign to me. I've gone back to my screen. Even square feet, for some reason, it just seems a little foreign to my brain. But so, like, I don't know. Like, I'm thinking something there's still extra measurements, actually. If you go back to that menu, that little cone and sphere menu. Oh, scene. Okay.
Yep. And in units, if you go down to length in that menu.
Repeat what you were saying. Okay, so over here inside of the scene.
Over there's a menu called length.
Length. Okay, right here.
So are you back on metric for some reason?
Oh,
so
okay.
So you'd set it to that, and then in length, choose your preferred measurement.
I would say inches most of the time, but when I'm making something this big, I would have to go back to this every time and change it to feet. Right?
Possibly. I don't actually use the measurement tool because I'm not going to put it in a game engine, and I'm not going to, I'm not doing architecture or anything. I just build it to look how I want and then render it out. I don't actually worry about the measurement.
Okay, so let's say I want to scale this down at this point.
So you would, like, you've got everything selected now, you'd press the S key and just scale it down to something more manageable. That looks a bit buggy. That should be working.
Yeah, it's not. I just pressed escape. Let's go to edit mode, maybe?
It's not scaling.
No.
Yeah, it's not scaling on mine either, and...
Yeah, I had problems with this earlier, where instead of object mode, like if I just select this table, for example, and press R and just say Y, for example, it won't rotate. But if okay, let me escape, and then I go into edit mode, R, Y. Well, okay, yeah. See, it's starting to rotate now, but like it's only in edit mode that it started to do that. And
yeah, that is really weird, and I'm not sure why. But one thing I have noticed is if you make something in a buggy version of Blender, those bugs seem to stay in that file, and it doesn't seem to disappear until you start a whole new project, which is a bit frustrating.
That sucks.
It really sucks, because I've got the exact same problem with something else. There was a problem yesterday or the day before, because I get the daily build just to see what's going on, and the real-time render was showing up completely black. And then I got today's build, and it's all back to normal. I was like, alright, I'll go back to my old project. Nope, still black.
That's frustrating.
And, yeah.
God. Okay, I guess I can live with the fact that everything is just enormous. This is just an idea rather than an actual practical floor plan. All right. So we have every single wall as a separate object. Some of that is for practical use, and some of it's not. It's so that, if I wanted to like show something going on inside of the sound stage, I could have some of the walls gone, and I can go ahead and see inside of it. If I want to show what's inside of the green room, I can go ahead and show that inside of a thumbnail or something like that. But I think overall, just having these internal walls all merged, it would be fine if we did that. So
yeah, I mean, it depending on what you're planning to use it for, either way is fine, because it's your model and you know what you're going to do with it, so only you can answer how practical it's going to be to have it all totally merged or as separate objects. I mean, having it as separate objects like this definitely makes adding textures to it a lot easier, but at the same time, you're going to have a lot of textures. But at the same time, you don't have to actually do a whole heap of separate textures. You can actually all do it on the one map, but it just makes it a little bit more confusing if it's separate objects, but we haven't actually gotten that far, and you'll understand more when you give it a go.
It's fine. I think, yeah, I've selected everything that I want to have merged, maybe except for that one. Oh wait, well, okay, so this, that, this can be merged, that can be merged. Same thing with these two and that. Okay, yeah, all of those can be merged, I feel. So what you said that off camera, you mentioned that I could just press a button.
Yeah, you should be able to press Control J to join.
Control J. Okay, so now, okay, let me press Control Z real quick. Go back to edit mode, and let's see if I press grab. Okay, that's not working. Go back to object mode. Okay, so if I deselect everything and select, okay, so everything is now one big object. If I go back into edit mode, though, we're going to see some weirdness happen.
Maybe if you press the L key, you'll probably find that they're still separated.
L?
So hover over a mesh and press L.
Huh.
Yep, they're still separate because they're not joined at the vertices.
Okay, yeah, that's what I figured would happen. So basically, I need to do some painstaking work in order to get these vertices joined.
Yeah.
Okay, so Alt M, you said at center. Okay, at center. So, since this wasn't done with the mirroring, what would you suggest in order to, I guess, make sure that this doesn't happen in the future, I guess?
If you're trying to prevent having to go through this, there's two things you can do. I mean, one, hopefully, you learn from this and you'll know a little bit better and you just learn from your experience. But let's just say it was unavoidable, or it was just one of those projects where you're working with people and somebody changed their mind and you need to join it like this. What you could do is loop select an edge, remove some unnecessary faces, and then make sure you have the same number of cuts. So you'd be using some loop cuts and you'd position them pretty much in the same place as the opposite. So you've got the same number of vertices as the object opposite it, and then you would use a shortcut called bridge edge loops, and then you could have them bridge together and connect. But then you would also have to go back and delete any unnecessary faces, unless having a lot of faces isn't actually a problem.
In terms of like processing power, I don't think it's much of an issue. It's just the idea that I did something wrong. That's what bugs me about having extra faces.
Yeah, they're bound to happen even to the most experienced users. I mean, something like that usually happens, but there's also a cleanup feature in the mesh menu, and it's under the menu cleanup, and it has things like delete loose, which is delete loose vertices, and all these other things to clean it up or fill holes or whatnot, and sometimes it's just unavoidable.
I see. Okay, I guess I just need to delete these edges since they won't dissolve. Okay, so let's see what damage I did to the actual model now, since I deleted those. I remember I had a lot of problems with this corner in general. Like, sometimes these vertices, they can be like so close to each other, and I'm not really quite sure if there's actually two that I'm selecting and I press Alt-M to merge them at center.
Yep.
Is it okay that I'm doing that anyways? Like, since I'm not sure?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you're better off just to go over it if you're unsure about it, because they can cause some problems later on, especially if you're going to animate it.
Right.
I mean, with walls you can kind of get away with it because you don't really animate walls, but it's also always a good idea to have just a good model.
I have no idea what I'm looking at. Okay,
maybe press Z and look at wire view instead.
Z. Okay, right. Wait, Z wireframe, right?
Yep. Okay, that's weird. You should be able to like see through it like it's transparent.
Solid rendered. Huh. Yeah.
That's weird.
This must be, I don't know, it feels like this is probably a bug with the prior version, unfortunately. Okay, so these issues are kind of minor, not necessarily something I need to absolutely address. It's kind of like the scale issue that I've been having.
They're not something to worry too much about. I mean, unless you were going to actually like give this to a builder and say do it to exact measurements, it's not anything to worry too much about. And you know, you're not going to animate the walls, so it's not going to fall apart.
Right. Okay, so now I just need to select all of these. And you said it was Alt-I, right, to merge these?
No, Alt-J.
Alt-J. Okay, I keep forgetting. Alt-Join. Alt-J. Okay, so I am in object mode, so that should work. So if I deselect and... Well,
it doesn't seem to have applied. Instead of selecting all of them again, you can actually Control-Z to go back to the full selection.
Control-Alt-Z?
No, just a regular undo, but you'd already selected everything. I think there's a bit of lag, but...
There we go.
Yep.
Okay, so that worked, but now it did something funky. It added...
Did you have a mirror modifier on by any chance?
I did, but only for... Let me show you. What is going on there? Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah, it's got mirror modifier on everything now.
Okay, let me press Control Z.
So, yeah.
Okay, so, no, Control Z.
Control Z will also undo a selection, so sometimes you gotta go back a little extra.
Okay, they're now individual objects.
Apply your mirror modifier first, and then try again.
Well, if I'm going to do that, what I think I'm going to have to do is probably delete all of these, because each one of these has a mirror modifier applied to them. Like, they're duplicates of the very first one, which is right here, and these are duplicates of the first one. So I need to select that, and then go into the wrench, press clipping. Let's do clipping first. If there's a way that I could just, I don't know, I'm having difficulty navigating at this point. It's because I'm getting close to the source, I'm sure.
Yeah, maybe you're in object mode. If you select the walls.
Select the walls?
Right, yep, select the wall and press the H key.
H, okay.
Yep.
Oh, to hide.
Yep, H to hide, and just hide all of those unnecessary walls, and you might find your navigation just improves.
Okay.
It's just trying to focus on too much at once, you know?
Oh, yeah. Okay, so I want to see if things are clipping. Edit mode. Okay, so actually I have clipping selected.
Okay, so there's one thing you can do to see that. On the mirror modifier, you should see 3 icons highlighted in blue at the moment and a 4th unhighlighted. It's a triangle, upside down triangle.
Okay, upside down triangle. In here?
Yep, near the top of the modifier.
Oh, this right here.
Yep,
just
if you click that.
Cage to modifier results. What does that mean?
Yep, so click that.
Whoa, okay. So,
and that's your preview of the mirror in full action.
Oh, okay, so now I should be able to, like, see if it's clipping, that's good, because, like, that means that everything's merged together, at least, especially with this clipping click on.
Yep.
It does look like they overlap, which is fine, which is what we kind of want. Okay, so...
you might want to press the 5 key and get out of perspective mode.
5?
And that'll improve your navigation.
Oh, whoa. Orthographic.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it does. Yeah, my navigation is a lot easier now. But everything looks really wonky. That's the only downside to it. Okay, so now that I think I'm good with this, so I press OK. Modifier cannot be applied in edit mode. Right. So I need to go into object mode and apply. Right?
Yep.
And okay. Oh, what did I just do? Scale, rotate, move. Okay, so wait. I think I did just Control C and then grab and then Z. Yeah, that's how I did it.
Shift D duplicates as well.
Shift D. Oh, that's a lot. That's less keystrokes. Shift D and then Z. Awesome. Okay, so now we need to deal with this one. So edit mode real quick here. And then you had me click on that. Adjust edit cage. So it just shows me the 3D modeling of all mirrored modifier sort of stuff.
Yep, and I can see your middle verts are overlapped quite a bit. So if you turn on clipping and just move it around a little bit like I did.
Move it around?
So press
right.
A.
Yeah. A.
If you press A to select all and then the G key to grab and move.
G.
Yep, and then release at any point. Just, you gotta...
let me X. Okay, so G, and then, okay, there we go. That's it right there.
Yep.
Okay, so, and then apply, I think. Oh, wait, I can't do that in edit
mode.
Yep,
in object mode.
Object mode. Okay, so, Shift D, and I think it's Y? Yeah, okay. So now I'm just going to select both of these. Shift D, Y, and then move them on over. And then might as well select these two. Shift D, press Y, move them on over. And Shift D, Y, move them on over. And I have one extra, or two extra that I don't need. Alright, cool. Alright, this actually has resolved a lot of it. So is there any keyboard shortcut that I can magically unhide everything?
Yes, Alt-H.
Alt-H. Okay, wait, Alt-H? Okay, so one second. If I were to select this, Alt-H, or Control-H, maybe? No.
H to hide, or?
Yeah, okay, cool. Then Alt-H. That's cool. That's cool. That is a lifesaver right there. Well, if... Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt the footage here, but the footage goes on for another 30 minutes or so, and it's footage of us accomplishing very little, if anything. Ultimately, the reason is because this file comes from an older Blender 2.8 beta. And for some reason, when I created this Blender file, it's had all of these glitches, and you guys have seen some of them. I can't scale anything in object mode. I can't rotate anything in object mode. And it's things like this that eventually wound up compounding the issue to the point to where I couldn't really get anything done. And I haven't really abandoned this project, it's just that I'm going to wait till I'm a little bit more advanced, just wait a little bit further down the road. Ultimately what needs to happen is this file needs to be exported as an OBJ file, as an actual object, rather than trying to open up this glitchy Blender file that really can't be fixed because the file itself is glitchy, regardless of what version or updated status Blender happens to be at. It's just always going to have this problem, so it has to be an OBJ object sort of file. But I felt like this video still has some good content. It shows how a newbie tends to think when using Blender, and it also has me learning, and it's educational, and I think that you guys can learn from the content inside of this video. Anyways guys, that pretty much concludes it for this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and if you guys would like to get more notifications from me, feel free to click on the bell, or go ahead and follow me on Twitter. If you guys would like to participate in my Discord server, or support my channel, links to my Patreon and my Discord server are in the video description below. And if you guys would like to see more of my content, feel free to click on anything that's appearing on the screen right now. Thank you very much for your time.